First of all, let me just say that I love The Umbrella Academy. It has been a long time since I have seen something so creative and immersive, something that has transported me in every single episode. I love its absurdity and its heart, the fact that Gerard Way created it and I never knew, and of course I love its flawed characters and the cast who play them. Now, if you have seen The Umbrella Academy, then you may have noticed that Klaus Hargreeves, aka The Seance, has become a bit of a fan favourite, and I completely understand why. I think in a strange way we can all see ourselves in this extremely colourful, unashamed drug addict who can speak to the dead. And the reason we can see ourselves in such an extreme character is because he is also someone who has experienced great fear and loss, two very universal emotions. Another reason I personally love the character of Klaus is his refusal to ever be labelled or placed in a box.
Is that my skirt?
What? Oh, yeah, this. I found it in your room. It's a little dated, I know, but it's very breathy on the bits.
In episode 6, we discover that Klaus had a relationship with a man named Dave. We find out that while their time together was brief, the two fell very intensely in love and that Klaus misses him deeply.
He was kind and strong and vulnerable and beautiful. Beautiful. And I was foolish enough to follow him all the way to the front line.
The Umbrella Academy then does something that I have been waiting to see for a long time in a TV show.
Well, Dave must have been a very special person to put up with all your weird-ass shit.
It moves on with the plot. Klaus never defines his sexuality to his family. They never question him about Dave being a man, and the audience is never forced to see Klaus as a gay character. Instead, he is a man who has loved and lost in a way that he had never experienced before, and this is what develops him as a character, not the fact that he is part of the LGBT community.
Please stay with me, dear. Stay with me. No, 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 no. No, no, no.
In an interview with Digital Spy, Robert Sheehan, who plays Klaus, spoke on how creating an LGBT character can often reduce that character to only that. Rather than being complex and interesting, the show or film can focus solely on the character's sexuality above all else. This is a tough idea to dissect because while on one hand I completely agree with what Robert is saying, I can also see why having out and proud LGBT characters on screen is important. I often find myself thinking about this concept a lot when watching and reviewing LGBT content, and I think at the end of the day, the answer to this idea comes down to one question. Is queer all that this character is? If the answer is yes, if you can find no other personality traits other than the queer stereotypes forced upon this character, then it has indeed been reduced to nothing more than LGBT. But if the answer is no, as it is in the case of Klaus, then this character is far more important to see on screen. Klaus is flawed. He is a drug addict. He cares for little other than himself and will do almost anything if it means he can score another hit. But he also cares deeply about those around him. He has experienced loss and fear, but most importantly, love. At the end of the day, these are what define Klaus, not his sexuality, but his emotions. This is why we love this character and why we can see ourselves within that character, because this is the truth of Klaus.